Right Honourable Dame Patsy Reddy, Governor-General of New Zealand, and Sir David Gascoigne.
I ngā mana, i ngā reo, i ngā iwi o ngā hoe whā. Tēnei aku mihi nui ki a koutou. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Nau mai haere mai rā ki te whare kawana. I specifically acknowledge the High Commissioner for Niue, His Excellency Lisa Argela, the Commissioner of Police, Andrew Costa, a kuia puhi wāhine Tibble, a kaumātua Joe Harawera, tēnā koutou. And I offer a very special welcome to today's honour recipients. It's a real pleasure to host this investiture ceremony this afternoon and bring together 14 honour recipients, together with their whānau and friends, to recognise the contributions they've made to our country. As Governor-General, I have the authority and the privilege, on behalf of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, Queen of New Zealand, to hold investitures for her and to confer royal honours, our nation's highest honours, on those individuals who've made exceptional contributions to their communities and to our nation. Hosting an investiture ceremony is one of the most important duties I have as Governor-General, because it allows me to recognise and congratulate them on behalf of all New Zealanders for what they have done to help to make Aotearoa New Zealand a better place to live. Some recipients have a national public profile, others are well known in their own communities, but what they have in common is the positive contribution they've made to our cultural, economic, social and cultural well-being. I hope this will be a memorable day for you and for your whānau and friends who've come to recognise and celebrate with you. Catriona McLeod will shortly read the citation for each of our recipients and invite them to come forward to receive their insignia. And ladies and gentlemen, when they come forward, I invite you to join me in congratulating and thanking them for their service to our country.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Ms. Elizabeth Knox of Wellington, for services to literature. Elizabeth Knox was appointed an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit in 2002 for her services to literature. She has continued to write critically acclaimed books, including her first young adult series, The Dream Hunter Duet, and has won both national and international awards for her novels and literary collections. Her collection of personal essays titled The Love School won the biography section of the New Zealand Book Awards. Her book, Mortal Fire, won the New Zealand Post Children's Book Award for Young Adult Fiction and was a finalist in the Los Angeles Times Book Awards. In 2019, she published The Absolute Book and was awarded the Prime Minister's Award for Literary Achievement. Ms. Knox currently teaches a world-building workshop for fiction at Victoria University of Wellington. Ms. Elizabeth Knox, please come forward. Your Excellency, to be a companion of the Queen's Service Order, Mr. Jeff Sanders of Lower Hutt, for services to social service governance. Jeff Sanders was a Methodist presbyter, General Manager for IHC New Zealand, and Director of Wesley Community Action. He was Chief Executive of Relationships Aotearoa, which led the therapeutic response to the Christchurch earthquakes. As Chief Executive of Barnardo's New Zealand, he championed the Ngā Poe Whā strategy for Māori development. He helped strengthen the NGO sector by leading coordinated work programs contributed to by the government, Māori, Pacific, and mainstream NGOs. He has served on the boards of the Community Social Services Industry Training Organisation, Wellington Night Shelter, and government task forces. He is a board member of the Social Workers Registration Board, Voice Whakarongo Mai, and the Roy Mackenzie Centre for the Study of Families at Victoria University of Wellington, and chairs the Central Regional Health School. Mr. Jeff Sanders, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Professor Angie Farrow of Wellington, for services to the arts, particularly theatre. Professor Angie Farrow has written more than 50 plays, which have been widely performed internationally. She was executive producer of the annual Manawatu Summer Shakespeare. She began lecturing with Massey University in 1995, and in 2019 became the first professor of theatre studies at Massey University. She instituted the Expressive Arts program within the university's Bachelor of Communication. She set up a resident artist scheme, which has run for 14 years. She developed the Festival of New Arts, in which students collaborated with the public to devise original scripts and choreograph stories, performances, and multimedia presentations. Professor Farrow was chair of the Manawatu Arts Committee, is currently president of the Playwrights Association of New Zealand and has been a judge of the Women's International Playwriting Conference. Professor Angie Farrow, please come forward. Superintendent John Price of Christchurch for services to the New Zealand Police and the community. Superintendent John Price is the New Zealand Police District Commander for the Canterbury region. He led the response to the 2016 North Canterbury and Kaikoura earthquake and the 2017 Port Hill fires. He was the forward commander following the 2019 mosque shootings in Christchurch. He serves on the University of Canterbury's Board of Criminal Justice Studies and the Australian Institute of Policing Management's Board of Studies. He established New Zealand's first community justice panel in Christchurch as an alternative method for police to prosecute some lower-level offenders, utilising the help of iwi, social services and cross-agency partners. Superintendent Price was previously Canterbury Operations Commander during the Christchurch earthquakes, National Manager for Training at the Royal New Zealand Police College and Area Commander for the Kapiti Mana area. Superintendent John Price, please come forward. Mr. Victor Roger of Wellington for services to theatre and Pacific arts. Victor Roger is a playwright whose works deal with race, racism and identity, including issues confronting Pacific peoples and voicing issues for the gay community. His first play, Sons, won 4 Chapman Tripp Theatre Awards. His multi-award-winning play, Black Faggot, was performed at the Auckland and Melbourne Fringe Festivals and in Hawaii and the United Kingdom. His other plays include Rantus Tantstrom, My Name is Gary Cooper, At the Wake, and Umalava. He founded FCC, which has presented works in New Zealand, and in 2020 produced Wild Dogs Under My Skirt at New York's Soho Playhouse. He has worked with Pacific Secondary School students through Tautai Arts Trust Fresh Horizons workshops. Mr. Roger has written and acted on television shows Shortland Street, Mercy Peak, and This is Picky. Mr. Victor Roger, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Inspector Sam Abrahama of Gisborne for services to the New Zealand Police and the community. Inspector Sam Abrahama has worked for the New Zealand Police since 1988 and is now Tairawhiti Area Commander. He helped establish the police's Cook Islands Internal Support Network. He chaired the Safe Tairawhiti Community Trust until it was amalgamated into Manaki Tairawhiti, and he remains a member of the governance group. He helped establish the Ngā Ara Pai mentoring program, which assists at-risk youth to obtain their driver's license, and Te Ahi, a partnership between police and local churches with a focus on family harm. He was a member on the National Board of Safe Communities Foundation New Zealand. Inspector Abrahama has been instrumental in several successful community projects. Inspector Sam Abrahama, please come forward. Dr. Lisa Argela of Dunedin for services to animal welfare and conservation. Dr. Lisa Argela is one of New Zealand's most accomplished wildlife veterinarians. She is the founder and director of Dunedin's Wildlife Hospital. She was veterinary science manager at Wellington Zoo, where she helped to establish the hospital as a world-class native wildlife treatment facility. She has been involved with the Kia Conservation Trust, the Kakapo and Takahe Recovery Groups, the Yellow-Eyed Penguin Trust, and the Department of Conservation. She provided hand-rearing and veterinary support during the 2016 Kakapo breeding season. Dr. Argela is well known for her successful treatment of Happy Feet, the emperor penguin that got stranded in New Zealand on its way back to Antarctica in 2011. Dr. Lisa Argela, please come forward. Mr. Grant Gibson of Greymouth for services to Rugby League. Grant Gibson has contributed to rugby league in the West Coast region for more than 55 years. He is chairman of the West Coast Rugby League WCRL Referees Association and vice president of the WCRL board. He's a member of the New Zealand Rugby League NZRL Referee Training Department. He was appointed the West Coast coordinator by NZRL in the 1990s and continues to travel throughout New Zealand, holding referee seminars and training courses. He's been significantly involved in the development of youth rugby league in the West Coast region. Mr. Gibson is the referee's coordinator at all Southern Zone Rugby League age group tournaments. Mr. Grant Gibson, please come forward. Mrs. Janet Lane of Wellington for Services to Tertiary Education. Janet Lane is Chief Executive of Mito New Zealand Incorporated, the standard-setting body for the automotive, transport, logistics and extractive sector. Her leadership has inspired collaborative partnerships with industry associations, corporate entities, employer networks and government agencies to support workforce development strategies. She has implemented scholarship programs, secondary school micro-credentials, diversity projects for underrepresented groups, technical mentorships, literacy and numeracy coaching, and dedicated bespoke pastoral care. She served as a council member of the Industry Training Federation and was a trustee of World Skills New Zealand and ICAR New Zealand. Mrs. Lane represented New Zealand at the APEC Electromobility Symposium in Chile in 2018. Mrs. Janet Lane, please come forward. Dr. Jan Medlock of Tauranga for Services to Philanthropy, the Arts and Radiology. Dr. Jan Medlock has sponsored the arts through her involvement with the Acorn Foundation. She sponsors a Creative Arts Award through Creative Bay of Plenty and the Jan Medlock Acorn Fiction Prize at the New Zealand Book Awards. She sponsored an Adult Learner Scholarship at the University of Waikato. She worked as Clinical Director of Tauranga Hospital Radiology Department and co-founded private radiology practices. Dr. Medlock chaired the New Zealand branch of the Royal Australian and New Zealand College of Radiologists, establishing a branch office in Wellington, spearheading a name change campaign for the college, and establishing a committee and procedures to assess overseas trained radiologists for the New Zealand Medical Council. Dr. Jan Medlock, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, Mrs. Cathy Allen of Gisborne for services to the community. Cathy Allen has been involved with Age Concern, the Blind Foundation, the Maori Women's Welfare League, the Stroke Foundation, the Horticultural Society, Plunkett, Emergency Child Care, and the Gisborne Catholic Church. She provides pastoral and personal care to people suffering from ill health, loneliness, mental health problems, and disabilities. She is hospital chaplain for Gisborne Hospital and fundraisers for Red Cross and St John's. She was president of the Gisborne Floral Festival. Mrs. Allen has coordinated school holiday programs at her home and, as a bookbinder, has restored hundreds of books and artefacts for locals. Mrs. Cathy Allen, please come forward. Mr. Colin Gibbs of Nelson for services to agriculture and the community. Colin Gibbs was provincial chairman of Federated Farmers for Nelson and Tasman. He helped set up the Top of the South Rural Support Trust. He's been president and secretary of the Waimea and Tapawera Dog Trial Clubs. He was president of the Nelson A&P Association, chief steward for the show's Shearing and Wool Handling section, and the Nelson Marlborough Shearing and Wool Handling Committee's national delegate. He is currently a Wakefield Community Council trustee and helped develop the Wakefield Area Civil Defence Response Plan. Mr. Gibbs is the farming representative on the Tasman District Council's Dry Weather Task Force. Mr. Colin Gibbs, please come forward. Reverend Falkland Leuvaye of Porirua for services to the Niue community. Reverend Falkland Leuvaye is Minister for the Kilbirnie Presbyterian Church in Wellington and Interim Moderator for Pacific Islands Presbyterian Church of Christ the King in Porirua. He was Assistant Chaplain at Wellington Hospital and helped found the Wangahau Niue Trust to preserve the Niue language. He continues to promote Niue Language Week and provides translation for children's books and promotional material. He launched a book to mark the 50th Jubilee of the Niue Ministry in Wellington. He initiated the combined ecumenical Niue congregation services to strengthen community connections. Reverend Leuvaye is convener for the Wellington Region Pacific Presbyterian Ministers Association. Reverend Falkland Leuvaye, please come forward. Mrs. Jean Stanley of Turangi for Services to Conservation. Jean Stanley established the Pukawa Wildlife Management Trust in response to the rising number of pests appearing in the surrounding forestry. Pukawa Bay on the Lake Taupo coast is famous for its dawn chorus bird song. Her efforts, alongside other volunteers, have enabled the establishment of more than 15 bush tracks, which service around 400 traps and 180 poison bait stations. These traps have eliminated approximately 11,000 pests since 2002. Mrs. Stanley has organised several meetings and workshops on pest management. She is the secretary of the Pukawa Wildlife Management Trust and chairperson and manager of its local management group. Mrs. Jean Stanley, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture has concluded.
Our honours system is our nation's highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces values and behaviours that sustain our communities and help our nation thrive and prosper, and these include service, courage, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of knowledge and excellence. By using their talents to make ours a better society, whether by service to their communities, or by their leadership in diverse fields of endeavour, or by their commitment to excellence in their own area of expertise, our recipients have set a fine example to others. And to our recipients today, it's been a real joy and a privilege to hear your stories. In your own way, each of you has contributed to the well-being of our people and our nation, and in some cases, your influence and the positive impact of your work has extended beyond our shores. Your achievements and the stories we've heard today reflect the spirit of the words of Te Puia Herangi, Princess Te Puia, when she said, "Mahia te mahi mō painga mō te iwi." When you work for the well-being of the people. On behalf of all New Zealanders, I thank you for what you have done to support the well-being of our people, making Aotearoa New Zealand a better place to live for all of us, whether by dedicating yourselves to the public good, achieving distinction in your chosen field, or inspiring others with your leadership. Please wear your insignia with pride, knowing that your contributions are recognised and valued, and others are inspired by your example. Kia ora hui tātou katoa. Thank you, everyone. That almost brings to a close the formal part of today's ceremony. But before we break for refreshments, I ask you to stand and join me in singing our national anthem.